What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Doctor Who Classic review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 5th Doctor Peter Davison story, Snakedance. Now this is a story that I have seen before, once before, about a year and a half ago, and I was interested to revisit it. I just got it on DVD in Region 2, I had it on Region 4 before, so yeah, I was looking forward to watching this one again. It is of course the second story in the Mara Tales box set, the first one being Kinder, which I have already reviewed a few weeks ago. So yeah, this is Snakedance by Christopher Bailey. The TARDIS makes an unplanned landing on Menusa, where preparations are underway to celebrate the defeat of the Sumerian Empire 5 centuries earlier. But the ancient evil of the Mara lives on, and Tegan, who has been haunted by disturbing dreams since her time under the wind chimes on Devaloka, is now a pawn in its plan to re-enter the physical world and subjugate the Menusian people. Only the Doctor can stop the Mara, but first he must convince the authorities that he is not just a deluded fool who believes in children's fairy tales. So, a very nice little synopsis on the back of the DVD there. Yeah, this does kind of carry on from Kinder, which was a story that I thought was decent. I gave it a 7 out of 10, I believe. It was just kind of an average story for me. There was good things, there was bad things about it, and just altogether it just wasn't one of those standout stories. But what's Snakedance going to be like? Well, let's get started talking about it today with the cast. So to start off with, we've got Peter Davison as the 5th Doctor. I think Peter Davison's pretty good here. Peter Davison has his moments where he's not as good as some other Doctors a lot of the time, and that is a little bit of the case here. I think one thing that really does put me off with Peter Davison, and I've heard a lot of other people say the same thing, he talks really, I don't know, doesn't really talk quickly, but he always sounds like he's out of breath when he's talking. I don't know what it is. He's always talking like, and he's always breathing, and you can just the way he talks and the way he looks as well when he's talking, he just always looks like he's out of breath. And in this story, especially from what I've seen so far, or at least I did notice it quite a bit in this story, it does happen quite a lot. I don't know why. I don't know why he does that. When he has his more calm moments, he's pretty good, but when he's talking normally, or talking fast and really getting angry or whatever, he really sounds out of breath and looks out of breath, and I think it's a bit strange. Other than that though, yeah, Peter Davison's great. He's a really good Doctor. I think he's a really good actor. It's just that little thing that does bug me a little bit about him. Sarah Sutton as Nyssa, pretty good in this one. Nice to see her actually doing something. You may remember, if you have seen Kinder or seen my review on it, in Kinder, Nyssa was completely absent. She started off the story, she wasn't feeling very well, she got shoved away in the TARDIS, and then literally came right at the very end out of the TARDIS and said, "Oh, I'm alright now, I feel alright now." They just didn't know what to do with Nyssa, in that story, and apparently that does happen quite a bit in a lot of other stories. I haven't really seen much else of that yet, but apparently Nyssa does kind of get shoved to the side a lot. Thankfully though, in this story, not the case. We have got rid of Adric here. Last time in Kinder we had Adric as well, so there is one less companion. There is only Nyssa and Tegan. I said Nissan, that's a car. Yeah, so Nyssa actually has a decent amount to do in the story, which is good. Then we of course have Janet Fielding as Tegan Javanka. Of course Tegan has a fairly sizable amount to do. To be honest, she's actually not on screen that much. I'd almost say that Nyssa's probably on screen more. However, Tegan obviously does kind of have the main focus. She's almost the villain in this story. She's getting taken over by the Mara once again, like she did in Kinder. I think once again she does very well with being taken over. I just think she has a great performance in that, and she plays it very well. And yeah, it's kind of a lot of the same of what she was doing in Kinder. So yeah, she's pretty good. Tegan's not one of my favourite companions at the moment, but yeah, she did pretty well in this one. I will also briefly mention Martin Clunes, who played Lon in this story. If you don't know, Martin Clunes played, what's his Doctor something? I can't. Doc Martin, is it? Did he play Doc Martin? I believe in the show Doc Martin. I'm fairly sure that's correct. Something like that anyway. But yeah, he's pretty good in this story. He's very young in this story. I don't know how old, but he is very young. It's kind of weird seeing him this young. And yeah, he does a pretty solid job. Nothing amazing, but I think there are moments where he's very good. There are also moments where he's a bit hammy and a bit kind of not the best, but yeah, on the whole, I'd say he's pretty good. Alright, so on to the good and the bad. Starting off with the good. The Mara caves look pretty interesting. I do quite like the set design on this one. Now, the kind of building, you know, where Lon is and his mum, and you know, all those people, all the, you know, the kind of, they're all kind of the royals, I suppose, aren't they? They're kind of the royal family of this place, in a way. That set, you know, that whole house set is decent. I mean, it's pretty basic. It's not the most amazing thing. It's decent, but I really like the caves. I think, you know, you've got the start of the cave where you've got the snake head, you know, with its mouth wide open and the teeth, the fangs out. Really cool looking entrance to that, you know, area. The whole kind of, you know, carnivalesque sort of marketplace, I suppose, sort of look. It's more of a market than a carnival. That all looks really cool as well. I really like inside the caves. I think they're done very well with, you know, the snakes up on the wall. You know, you've just got all these little cave entrances and all these little bits and bobs. It just makes it look quite interesting. So yeah, I do quite like, I like the sets in general, but I think the caves especially, I really do like. Tegan being taken over by the Mara, like I said before, Janet Fielding does a very good job. I think she really does play that creepy, possessed thing very well. I think she really does. And yeah, there's no difference in this story. She's really just the same as she was in Kinder. Yeah, I mean, she does a bit more of it in this one, I suppose, and she kind of takes more of a, you know, she kind of, because she, you know, leads the snake, the Mara, onto Lon. So, you know, we end up having like 2 people possessed by the Mara at once. And yeah, I think it's, well, technically 3, because you also have that guy who, you know, goes into the caves and stuff, does his little show thing in the market. You kind of have him who's kind of possessed by the Mara as well, but not kind of in the same way. Yeah, I think it's just all really good stuff with Tegan and, you know, with Lon and everyone being possessed. Nyssa sneaking around to get the key to free the Doctor from the cell. I thought that was a really cool thing. There's a lot, and I've noticed this recently, with going through Classic Who as I have been, just kind of here and there. I've noticed that the Doctor gets locked up a lot, a bit too much, I think. The biggest downfall for this one was Frontier in Space for me. That story really dragged for me because there was so much of the Doctor and Jo getting locked up all the time. In this story it does only happen once. He's locked up for a fair amount of time though, but Nyssa tries to sneak around to try and get the key to you know, get him out of there, to free him. Doesn't quite go to plan. She has a bit of a confrontation with Lon and his mum, and then gets locked up herself. But yeah, I thought, you know, just giving Nyssa some stuff to do, her being by herself as well, sneaking around, just gives her some more stuff to do, and it's just interesting. The Mara looks much better in this compared to Kinder. Yeah, I think, you know, when the Mara becomes, you know, itself, when it goes massive, when it's really big, comes off of Tegan, in Kinder, you know, when it gets surrounded by the mirrors and utterly defeated, it looks crap. It looks like an inflatable snake, which it was. In this story though, they went for CGI, which, yes, looks pretty dated. This is 1983. Let's remember that. Probably 1982 when it was recorded, because this is, I think, only came out at the beginning of 1983. Yeah, 18th to 26th of January, so basically 1982. Not that it really matters, but yeah, CGI, not great, but I do think that, you know, when we see the Mara, granted we don't really see it quite in the scale that we did in Kinder, but when we do see it towards the end, in CGI form, it looks much better in my opinion. It really does. Even though, yes, the CGI is dated, I think it just looks so much better than a blow-up snake. It just looks just much better altogether, really, even with the bad CGI. And then finally, for the good, I quite liked how the Doctor defeated the Mara by finding the still point with the Great Crystal. Now, something that I just want to say off the bat here is quite interesting, is that we've got another story with a Great Crystal. If you don't know, my last review was for Planet of the Spiders. Don't think it was a Great Crystal, but, you know, you had the spiders and the Great one, and there was a crystal involved. Is that just a coincidence that I watched these back to back? I don't know. I think it is, but anyway. Yeah, I did quite like how they ended that, you know, how the Doctor used the crystal, there was that horrible noise, then the Mara did get defeated. It was a little bit kind of, oh, it just happened, you know, it just kind of happened pretty quick. I think I do prefer the way they did it with the mirrors in Kinder. I think that was a bit more clever, a little less rushed, and just a bit more interesting, but I did still quite like the way they finished it off. Yeah, it was alright. It wasn't the best thing in the world, but it was alright. Now on to the bad. To be honest, I don't really have anything to say that's bad about this story. The only thing I have got here is that Lon's outfit, you know, when he goes to defeat the Mara or take on the Mara or whatever he's doing in that, you know, that ritual at the end, his outfit looks ridiculous. I don't really know what they were going for there. He's got like clouds on his shirt. He's like wearing shorts, like a skirt thing. The silly hat. He looks absolutely ridiculous. Not something you can really take away from the story. It's more of just a thing. It's like, is that what we went for? I mean, it looks ridiculous. If you were going for ridiculous, you definitely, you know, you hit that one on the head. But it looks a bit too ridiculous. It looks like he's just come from Rugrats. It's a bit strange. Apart from that, though, I don't really have anything bad to say about the story. Now, usually this would be a good thing, you know, saying, oh, I don't really have anything bad to say. But for this story, I mean, of course it is a good thing. I wouldn't like to be adding more bad stuff, but even though I don't have many bad things to say, or really any bad things to say, it's still not a story that I really think is amazing. There's just something about it. Like a lot of other stories, it's not really got anything bad with it. It's just there's nothing stand out. That's the problem. It's a decent story. There's just nothing that massively stands out. So we might as well just get onto the rating right now. I'm going to give Snakedance a 7.5 out of 10. I am giving it 0.5 above Kinder. I do actually prefer this over Kinder a little bit, which I was surprised about because when I first watched these, I actually think I preferred Kinder at the time, but watching them both back, I do actually slightly prefer Snakedance for some reason. So yeah, a 7.5 out of 10. It's good, it's just kind of average, maybe a little bit above average, but just there's something about the story and just the way it all plays out that's good. It's just not mind-blowing, you know? It's just not one of those really stories that you really get invested in. It's good, it's just not great, and that's why I'm going to give it a 7.5. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe. Go and follow me on Twitter, link is in the description. I'm doing a lot more stuff on there recently, so please go and check that out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.